Hello, and welcome to The Smut Show, a weekly podcast with your internet book bestie, where every week myself and a guest discuss books and mix in a little bit of life, pop culture, and everything in between. So sit back with your favorite beverage and let's chat. Hello, and welcome to The Smut Show. I'm Neely, and I am back with Kailey, who's basically my co-host at this point. She's just here.
Hey.
We love her. And we today are going to talk about our top 10 favorite books that we've read. And I know for me, mine are not going to be in a specific order. I don't know if you've ranked yours.
No, I can't rank them.
I can't rank. I mean, I can give you my one, but everything else is like a solid 2.
I bet everybody that listens to this podcast,
everyone is listening to this will already know. But before we even get there, let's do 1s and 5s.
Go ahead. Hit me with your spring break.
So we just got back from spring break. As of recording on Monday, this airs tomorrow. We got back Saturday, and it was like a very chill trip. We went to Broken Bow, Oklahoma, which is like 3 hours from Dallas. And it's like it's very family friendly. There's like tons to do. But it was a super chill trip. Like we did not go in with like any sort of set itinerary. We had some like ideas for things we wanted to take the kids to do. But like every morning we really just had like a slow start to the day. I mean, I still had to get work done. So like I would work and do like a workout, and then the kids would play outside because the house had a playground in the backyard. And then it was just so like, nice. It was so great. It was like a really good playground too. And then it was just like a really big property. There was like a creek and like tons of stuff for them to like run around. So I was kind of like, y'all are going to just like play outside because it's nice. And then we would go do an activity like after lunch, and then kind of like there was like a hot tub. There was a fire pit in the backyard. Then there was like a little fire pit thing on the patio. So it was great. The weather was great. It was just good times. And then we left Saturday morning and came back, and it was like a whirlwind because I helped throw my mom a surprise 75th birthday party Saturday night.
I saw that.
And yes. And so my mom thought we were gone until Sunday. So like it was like a big thing where I like kind of still had to pretend we were gone. And so I was like posting pictures like we were still on the trip.
Oh my gosh, like
but
fake,
we were
like
not.
We were home.
Well, she texted me and she's like, "Oh, what are y'all up to?" I'm like, "Oh, we're taking the kids to play mini golf." Reality, we were home. I was unpacking and like doing laundry. And so we had this surprise party. It was really fun. But like by the end of the night, I was like, I am fucking tired. Like that was such a long day. Driving makes me so tired. And then yesterday was like a very like get our life together day. It was like Andrew went grocery shopping and cut up like fruits and vegetables for the week, and just laundry, made kids lunches, all that. Went back to bar yesterday, took a weightlifting class, which was awesome, and just like felt normal again. I don't know if I really have a 1-star other than, and we were talking about this before recording, I don't do well with not having alone time every day. Even if it's just like my workout, I just need to be like away from noise and alone. And so not having that for a week is always kind of hard. And I was telling one of my friends yesterday, I was like, I need to go run fake errands, which is like errands that you don't like have to do. You know, it's like,
get a car wash. You could save them. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I went and got a car wash yesterday after I worked out, you know, I mean, I needed it. My car had like road trip caked all over it, but
right.
But yeah, I'm better now because the kids are back at school today, and we only have 9 more weeks of school. I mean, this is our last little quarter of school. Wild. And then we're on to 1st and 4th grade, which seems
so crazy.
Really old. I'm like, 4th grade. Like Liam only has 2 years of elementary school left. And I'm like I was thinking that, I'm like, shit, I don't even know, like, is there a carpool line at the middle school? Like, do you just like pick a spot? I'm like, I don't have to worry about this yet.
Oh my gosh.
It seems like I have a lot of questions. And they merged. So 2 years ago in our area, they merged 6th grade into the middle school. It wasn't at the elementary school.
Okay.
Because they added pre-K to all the elementary schools.
Gotcha.
And so they pushed 6th grade to the middle school. I did not, like Andrew had that growing up where 6th grade was middle school.
I did too.
I did not. Most places do. but I only had 7th and 8th grade in middle school.
Oh, that's wild. No,
Which,
yeah, we were 6th,
yeah.
7th, 8th.
Well, in our local high school for a long time, 9th grade was like, it was on the campus, but they had it a little bit separated. And it was called like the freshman center, which I actually really like. I think that's good.
Yeah, because you think like some of these kids, especially now, I don't know about when you were
It's
growing
like
up, like
14-year-olds and 19-year-olds the same
they're all
school.
holding their kids back. Everyone like holds their kids back. So you
Yeah.
got like
I mean, Liam's
kids
February
turning like
and he's like one of the youngest boys in his grade. And he's February.
right. So there's like 19-year-old seniors, and then you're like fresh little like
Oh, I mean,
14-year-old baby girl. And I'm like, oh,
most of Liam's friends will turn 18 the summer before senior year. Like
I
they will
was
turn.
late. I was July. So I turned
I'm
like I went through
April,
the
so
okay. Yeah.
I turned 18 like right before I graduated high school. And
Yeah.
so I mean, and I as an April birthday, but Andrew's April and his parents held him back. Him and all
He's a
his
boy.
brothers got held back. And so we graduate our birthdays are one day apart, but we graduated a year apart.
A year apart.
So,
crazy.
So yeah. But those are my 1s and 5s. I mean, I really like don't have anything to complain about other than like I just wanted a minute.
Needed a minute.
I just needed a minute.
So I was like, I'm gonna go like fold some laundry. Can you just like give me 10 minutes by myself? And like folding laundry is like my break. Yeah, same.
Seriously.
Nothing really. My one is probably my husband's out of town, which
It's
isn't
always
like
hard.
a major, shout out to the military wives, like doing it
could never
all
be me
the time. Or like, the single parents. I'm 5 days in and I'm like, okay, like you can come home now. And my 5, probably like same side of the coin, is that since he was out of town, my parents came over for dinner because they live pretty close. So my dad like cooked homemade pizzas and we had like a nice walk after dinner and had this was like family time. It was great. So
nice. Do your parents live super close?
Like they're like 20 minutes away.
That's nice because it's like not close enough to where they're just gonna like walk over.
No, they would never
close
like
enough
stop
to
by.
where if you need them, they'll be there. That's how my parents are. Like my parents would never show up, but they're close enough.
Exactly. So it was nice.
Well, that's good. I guess now I finished Strangers, so we can talk about it. Okay. I finished it and then I had to do like a deep dive.
Of course.
Like, I'm like, what are you doing?
Try to find out who the mistress was, the alliteration. I kept being like, what do you mean like the alliteration? Like, is her name like
Meghan Markle?
I don't know.
I'm kidding.
But then she said she was like, they called her a fruit. So I was like, is her name like apple?
Lemon?
Cherry? I was trying to like, but again, I didn't go that deep into like the Reddit hole, but I was kind of like, Did you find anything interesting?
No, I mostly just wanted to see what she was up to. I follow her on Instagram now. She's like, I'm like pretty fascinated with her as a person. Like I said, I felt like she wrote very well. I really, really enjoyed the book. It was upsetting at parts, mostly because like it's crazy to me how quick somebody can like flip on you. You know what I mean? Like just like I think the most jarring part was just that like it really was a case of like she had no idea that was coming. Like everything was fine and he's just like, by the by, I want nothing to do with the children. And like I did read something, by the way, sorry, this is not really spoilers because it's in the first couple pages of the book. She says like it sets up
he tells
the
her
whole thing.
all this. Right.
Yeah. But I mean, to this day, I read something that he hasn't had the kids overnight once. Like never a vacation, never a holiday, nothing. And I'm like, that's insane. And it just makes me really sad for those kids who are probably like, what did I do wrong? Like,
I just don't know how, like, I think again, I can't, like, who are we to judge? But at the same time, as a parent, here's the thing. You are done with your spouse. Fine. You're done. Fine. A little abrupt, but like, you're done. Fine. But I cannot imagine as a parent being like, I never want my kids to spend the night with me.
But also, like, I will say two things too. One, thankfully those kids were older, and I feel like that would have been a lot harder had they been little kids.
Like our kids' age.
Yes, because I feel like that's harder to explain. I do feel like, I mean, like her son, was he in college, out of college?
He was, I think
like
he was graduating,
he was like,
right? Didn't he?
Yeah, he was like 18, maybe. He was like much old. He was like senior in high school, I think. You're fine. And he was a senior in high school. And so I think for him, that's probably not as bad because you can kind of understand. And I think the daughters were maybe, and I could be getting this wrong, the daughters might have been like
I think
15
11
and
and 13
12.
or yeah.
They were something. But they were still old enough where I feel like you could understand it. But I just can't imagine. And like, this is also kind of like um, a double standard. If a woman did that to her family,
Would be like
like
persecuted. No.
they absolutely. And I mean,
Stoned. Stoned in the like town
stoned.
corner.
Like it's just, it's kind of like, okay, do you watch Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? I promise I have a point.
No.
I
I
don't
don't. Keep
either. But
going.
like, you can't get on the internet right now and not know what's going on with Taylor Frankie Paul. Like, you could never have heard of her name before and you know who she is now because you cannot breathe without somebody being like, Taylor Frankie Paul. Okay. And people are like, well, it's okay that she threw the chair at him or like whatever, abused him because he was an abuser. Here's the thing. It's never okay to abuse, first of all, but the fact that people are like, it's okay because he did it, like, it's just like the double standard of men and women. And I don't know, she threw a chair and it hit her daughter, Taylor Frankie
Right.
Paul. So, like, I just can't really get past that. I also just,
I
like,
just
don't understand the mindset of, like, that kind of anger. So, again, like, could never
I'm
be
just like,
me.
I don't know, you don't want to take your kids on like a vacation? Here's the like he travels, he's the breadwinner, like fine, whatever. But I'm like, you don't want to like Christmas? No?
No.
Nothing? Like where again, I think something is like missing. Like I don't know if it's like sociopathic, psychopathic, like I'm not well versed in that, but like something
He
is
sounds like a
not
sociopath to me.
there's like a screw loose.
I just don't understand how you can raise your kids and like love them and be at soccer games and like family holidays and then all of a sudden be like, no, like I'm good. I've done this. I think I'm out now. Like had a good
Right.
run. I'm gonna pounce. But yeah, I mean,
Do you think she should have did you have thoughts on her actions in terms of like getting a lawyer and her timeline and her urgency of that?
it didn't feel urgent enough.
Okay, thank you. Not again, not to
Like I
judge.
felt
She was
like I can understand a little bit being like maybe confused and like not sure what to do. But if it were me, I would have had a lawyer before that first night was over. I would have
yes,
retained
100%.
counsel. And like also there's this, I don't know if this is the same everywhere. I'm going to assume it is that if you even like talk to a lawyer, they can't work with your spouse or they can't work with
Yes.
the other person. I would call every highly ranked divorce lawyer in the area and have a consultation with them. I would spend days doing it, even if I knew I was going to pick
Neely's
someone else.
so petty.
Just to, I would have been so fucking. She was not petty enough. Like I would have fucked him up,
Made his life a
and
living hell.
the fact that she just like was like, all right, I mean, whatever. I'm like, girl, no.
Like, be meaner.
Be meaner. Like, ugh, she was not mean enough. I would be
And I was just
meaner.
like, again, I feel like these like very wealthy families, like, don't you have somebody like on retainer that you like know of? Everyone's dealt with something like, again, like the moms and the grandmas. And I'm like, nobody's calling you to be like, hey, babe, let's like retain some counsel or like, what are you doing to protect
I
yourself?
also assume it was, I don't know, this might be from watching Gossip Girl. I assume rich people all just like have a lawyer on standby.
Literally, like family counsel.
Like I just assumed this, right? It's like I'm watching the Love Story JFK Jr. thing and I'm like, there's just legal. Legal's just right, like legal. Like
Right.
pull in
Right.
legal. And the fact, I mean, her family was like very well off. Like, did they just not have legal? Her
I don't know,
grandmother was
girl.
Babe Haley. Like,
Well, okay, so it's funny that this just came out and is really having like a cultural moment because like last week I got an email that was like, "Hey, you might like this memoir." So I'm like reading. I'm like, "Oh my God, I have to send this to Neely." So I'm going to read you the synopsis, okay? It's
I'm
by
excited.
Chris Jones. It's
Okay.
called Legs, Hearts, Minds, Loss, and Its Remedies. Returning home from a month-long work trip covering the European Championships for ESPN, worn out by life but too jet-lagged to fall asleep, Chris Jones opened his wife's laptop intending to get a little writing done. Instead, he found a series of text messages that would burn his marriage and his world to the ground. In the span of 20 minutes, Jones writes, I lost my wife and my best friend. In the coming weeks, I would lose my house, half my money, and some equal measure of my boys. That wicked morning, that terrible dawn, I watched the sun peel back the longest night of my life, and I felt my anger already making room for sadness, fear, disbelief. I was 42 years old. Nothing true of my life would be true again.
I mean,
Ma'am.
tell me less. I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah. So
When does it come out?
then he's like, he ends up in an emergency room, like blah blah blah. Like, wow. June 2nd, and it is from Random House. So I have an
Right.
arc, and I'm like,
Not
wow. But
me emailing everyone at Random House today being like, so
I'll send you whoever sent it to me. Yeah, I have their contact. Wild though. Doesn't that sound so good?
that sounds so good. And we were talking before about our list of 10, and I was like, I have 3 memoirs on my list. If you've been listening to this podcast since the beginning, you know that I have 2 speeds, and they are romance with a happy ending and memoir. Mostly celebrity memoir, but I just like memoirs in general. But I love a celebrity memoir. I love a D-list celebrity memoir. That's like my guilty pleasure tier. I only have one of those on this list. The other 2 are like actual well-to-do people memoirs.
I feel like that needs to be maybe like a side chat topic. 'Cause I would love to know, like, give me, and I would need to think about this because I also have some. I would like 5 seated D-list celebrities of like whose memoirs you would like to read.
That I would like
So
to read or that I have read.
no, that you would like to read. Like if you could have them. Like
Okay.
obviously we're never gonna. I don't think we're gonna get a Taylor
Like
Swift
people who
memoir.
haven't written.
Yeah, like again, like a
Well, she's
topic
not
for
a
next
D-list
time.
celebrity, but
No, but like we're never gonna get a Taylor memoir.
no,
But
we'll never
somebody
get
that
a
like,
Taylor memoir.
well, I need to think on it. But like who, you know what? I really would love a Katie Holmes memoir.
Yeah,
She's
I
not
could
a
do a
D-list
Katie
celebrity,
Holmes.
but like,
She's not a D-list
what
celebrity, but
was
I also am not sure if I would put her as an A-list celebrity.
no, like, but what is that? What was that life like?
I would love a Kanye West memoir. But would
Do you think
I?
it
I don't
would be
know.
like coherent? Maybe. Okay. All right. Again, I'm not.
I would like somebody like adjacent to the Diddy trial to write a memoir because I was like really into that. But again, I don't know. I was really paid a lot of close attention to that trial, and I feel like I know enough. Like I don't feel like I need to know anymore. Okay, but should we? Oh, we were gonna talk. I did a poll on the Smut Show Instagram yesterday about what book I should read next, Tom Lake or The Shippers, because I haven't read either. And I had no intent. I need to tell how I even came to download Tom Lake. I had no intention to read this book. First of all, I was like, Tom Lake does not sound like a book I want to read. Is the lake called Tom Lake? Is there a person called Tom Lake? Couldn't have told you what it was about. Then I like stumble upon somebody on Instagram and they're like 5 books to get you out of a reading rut. And I'm like, all right, tell me more. And one of them was Tom Lake. And the way she described it, I was like, okay, my interest is piqued. So I think I do want to read it, but like now you've told me you DNF'd it and I'm nervous.
It was just like a little slow. God, it was slow for me, but it was also like I DNF pretty quickly. So like sometimes if I'm done, I'm done. Like I'm out. I think it's a COVID book though too, right?
Uh-huh. Maybe I'm in my COVID book era.
Maybe you are, and maybe you'll love it. Again,
what a weird like sub
great
niche
reviews.
I have stumbled across.
Right. You're like, are you okay?
Books that
like
take place during COVID.
You know.
What's crazy about that is like I started reading Strangers like right at the 6-year anniversary of COVID, and I'm like, am I okay? like, do I have some repressed COVID trauma?
You guys are like trauma bonding, yeah.
Thank God that didn't happen to me though. I mean, like 45 times during the book, I'm like, hey Andrew, please don't leave. Like, don't do that.
Don't leave me.
I mean, he would never. But okay, should we talk about our top 10 books?
Yeah, kick us off. We'll alternate. You want to go first?
Yeah, but I'm going to start with the most obvious on my list, which is You with a View. But I don't think people understand my obsession with this book.
I think they do.
They do, but very few times has a book gotten me in the first page, right? Like usually for 97% of books, it takes me a minute. Like I might be intrigued, but I mean, when I tell you first page in, I was like, I'm here for this. I knew nothing about this book. I had seen somebody recommend it on like somebody like an author I follow recommended it. And I was like, okay. And I do enjoy when an author recommends a book because I feel like if it's an author I like and I like their books, I tend to like the books that they recommend. And then we had also had Katie from Beach Reads and Bubbly on the podcast, and Katie recommended it. And I was like, Katie gives
I
good
love her.
recommendations. Love her. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to read this. And I could not stop reading it. I was staying up till like 1 a.m. Anytime I had a minute, I was reading this book. And when it finished, I texted Rachel, I'll never forget this. And I was like, I don't know that I'll ever be able to read another book. Like
You're like, I'm not okay.
I went into the worst reading slump I've ever had. Every book I started, I was like, this is not as good. And it took me like months to be able to like fully enjoy a book again. And that is crazy to me. And I don't know if it just like hit me different. Like, I don't know why it hit me the way it did. I don't know what it was. But if you haven't read You with a View, short little synopsis, it is about a girl who's kind of like not sure what she wants to do in her career. And her grandmother has passed away. Like she's going through it. And she posts this TikTok and this guy comments and he's like, hey, like, I think that's my grandfather in that picture or whatever. And so it kind of starts this like journey that the two of them, who turn out to be like former high school tennis rivals, which is like very random. But you guys know that I love like a childhood knew each other to strangers to lovers, but it's two love stories within the book, which I think is what makes it so good. Is you're getting kind of their story, but you're also getting her grandmother and his grandfather's story, which is like so beautiful and lovely. And like I kind of love like a multi-generational storyline. So anyway, it's perfect. 300
I really
stars.
think Berkeley needs to contract you out for whenever her next book is published.
Jessica
and you should do all
Joyce.
the marketing.
I mean, Jessica Joyce like will straight up be like, nobody has promoted my book the way you.
No, like put
And
her on
I will
retainer.
say, she has a novella that takes place over New Year's that I loved. And she also has The X-Files, which is just as wonderful. She has another book coming out in 2027. And then she just announced the other day that she has like a short story coming out in September that's like you know how they'll do like 10 authors will do like a book and they each have like a story in it. She has one of those. And I was like,
say less.
Thank God. Because I really, in my life, need her to give me some piece of writing once a year just for me to be able to function. So, okay, what's your first book?
Oh my gosh, okay. Have you read this? I'm showing Neely the cover. Magnolia Parks.
I haven't, actually.
Okay, I think you would love this. I'm going to say this is the whole series. It like counts as my favorite.
It's really
You're either going to like
really
love it or
things.
hate it. It says, how many loves do you get in a lifetime? It's like rich people behaving badly.
Well, I love that.
It's like Gossip Girl set in London. And you know, you like fashion. Like it's all the fashion. She like loves, you know, she's like, oh, I'm wearing this Prada with this like blah, blah, blah from Versace. Basically, Magnolia Parks is the main character. And there's BJ, her like love interest. That's his like, I don't know, his initials for something. And they're very like, will they, won't they, on again, off again. And I know that drives some people absolutely crazy. But like, oh my gosh, the yearning in this book.
I do love a yearning.
There's so much yearning. And you're not going to agree with like every decision they make. But oh my gosh. And like, then there's like other characters. So basically Magnolia Parks is the first book. And then Daisy is another, obviously female character. She gets the second book and they rotate books. So like some of the books are from Magnolia's point of view. And like, that's kind of her and BJ's storyline. Then there's Daisy's point of view and like her love interest. And oh my gosh, it's so good. The series is not done. And Jessica Hastings is like, she keeps saying like, I'm having such trouble like finishing this series because like what I'm about to put this poor girl through. Like I know what I'm gonna have to do to her and like I'm unwell.
Great.
They're so good. It's like such an experience.
All right.
Love.
I'll take it into consideration.
Like, so a bajillion stars. Love.
So I'm gonna do my next two together because it's the same author in like same world. But I'm counting them as two separate books. So Every Summer After and This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. So here's the thing. I love Carly Fortune's books, except for Meet Me at the Lake, which I think is straight up garbage. And I think every other one of her books has been just chef's kiss perfect. But Every Summer After is one of my favorite books. I think I've read it 3 times at this point. And imagine you like have this like picture perfect, idyllic, summer vacation home, and then like your last summer there, like something just like very crazy happens. And years later, you're back and your ex friend, lover, person also there. And then there's a situation with his brother. It's just so good. And then In This Summer Will Be Different, it's the brother's book with the main character of that book, whose name is escaping me. Anyway, I read that on a flight and literally was like, I didn't think I would like it as much because you end Every Summer After like not really keen on the brother. You're just like, not my vibe. And then you read The Summer Will Be Different and you're like, oh, you absolutely are my vibe. And you're wonderful and perfect. Did you see? Okay, so Every Summer After is being made into a show. It's coming out this summer on Amazon. It's called Every Year After, though. So they're probably changing something. But did you see This Summer Will Be Different just got a Netflix adaptation?
I did.
A 10 episode, I think it's 8 or 10 episode Netflix adaptation. And I'm so excited. But then I'm kind of like, but are they going to use the same actors?
That's awkward when they're like on different, I don't know what they're
also seems like kind of a miss from Amazon. Like, if you're adapting one. Yeah, like.
But you wonder if, depending on when they acquired the rights, like, do they just not.
I'm really curious how that's going to work if we're using different actors playing the same characters. It'll just be interesting. That's my only concern is that.
Yeah. And I wonder how Carly feels about that.
I mean, I don't know. She's probably excited in general. I think most authors are just like pumped when their books get adapted.
But like, is that is she concerned about that?
I don't know. All right, what's your next book?
My next one is Ellen Hildebrand, 28 Summers.
Do you know I've never read one of her books?
Stop. Okay, well, you're going to start with this one. Okay, so a lot of my like themes in this are very kind of like, not a will they, won't they, but like I love when there are obviously, 2 people and something is preventing them from being together.
You must love One Day.
I think it was okay. Honestly, it was so long ago that I read it. I don't even know what I rated it.
I've never read it, but I've seen both adaptations.
Doesn't she like...
Yeah.
Right?
Well, this is not a spoiler. The book has been out forever, and there's been a movie and then a show adaptation at this point.
No, at that point, I'm like, no, this is just like gratuitous, and this is just like trauma porn. I'm done with you.
I don't know why I watched the show after knowing what happens, because I saw the movie.
28 Summers is so good.
Does it take them 28 summers to get together?
Well, hang on. So,
oh my God.
Basically, Mallory, she is on her deathbed, and her son Link, like, she's like, you need to call this number, and he calls this number, and it's basically the husband of the woman who's about to be like the next president of the United States. And he's like, how does my mom know this guy who's like wife's about to be president? But basically, they have like every summer, and like. It's 28 Summers. And like, it's kind of like, are they going to be together? Are they not? It's not like a happy, I don't know. You'll just have to read and find out. It's so good. And like the tension and the longing and like,
oh my God.
It's so, I don't want to say too much because like, I don't want to spoil it. I love this one so much.
I'm going to let you do another one since I did too.
Okay, deal. Okay. I'm going to switch. It's not like romance. The Measure. You probably haven't read this. By Nikki Ehrlich. Okay, I also love a book where I'm like, what the F would I do in this situation? So basically what happens is that one day, everyone in the world gets have you heard of this?
No.
Oh my God, okay. One day, everyone in the world gets this box, and in it is a string. And you really might, okay. This was like huge. This was like a read with Jenna a couple years ago. And basically the length of the string tells you how long you have left to live. Right?
You guys can't see my face. I'm literally covering my eyes because I'm like, let me tell you how much I wouldn't want to know.
So here's the thing. I
wouldn't even fucking open the box. I'd be like,
well,
no.
Exactly. So people like, they're like, where did the boxes come from? Like, what do they mean? Is there any truth? But then people need to decide, like, do they want to know how long they'll live? Do they not? And then it's like, a lot of times like your spouse, like Andrew might like open his box and you're like, well, I'm not gonna open my box. And just like grappling with like what they
I
do. And
also
like,
wouldn't
here's the
let
thing.
Andrew open his box.
So some people like no, right? But then here it kind of came out near COVID and everyone was like kind of like comparing and contrasting it to that. But like, let's say you're single. Let's say you're like 25, you're single, and you have a long string like that, or you don't even know. And let's say you meet somebody and they're like, hey, he's your
How long's
person,
your
but you know,
string? That's such a
but he
personal question.
but he has a short string, but he's the love of your life.
Speaking of, and I promise
Do,
this is kind of related, Andrew and I started watching Age of Attraction on Netflix, which is have you heard of this? It's the show where it's like you meet people and you like find your person, but you can't ask them how old they are. And so it
oh,
might
can
be
you just
like a 27-year-old guy and a 54-year-old woman. And like she thinks he's a little older and he thinks maybe she's a little young. Anyway, we watched 2 episodes last night. I am hooked. It's a
can they
dating
not see each
show.
other's faces?
Oh no, they do. But like even some of these people, I was like, I would not have guessed that was her age. Or like
Oh,
I would have thought, I mean, because
interesting.
like
Okay.
there's one girl and you're like, she's probably like 26, maybe she was 22. He was 38, but like has kids. There's another woman. This is not a spoiler. I'm sorry. It's kind of a spoiler, but I've only watched 2 episodes. I don't know what's gonna happen. But then there was this guy and this girl, and they like really, really liked each other and decided like we're gonna go all in on this. And so they finally, once you like commit that you're gonna like be all in, then you can say your ages. Okay. And so it's like you can talk about anything you want, ask them any question except how old you are. And so she is 54, he is 27. Her oldest son is older than him.
Did he not say like, do you have kids? How old are they?
No, you can't ask how old the kids are. You can say you have kids. Or maybe you can
Oh,
say how old they are. I don't know. I forget. But
okay. All right.
anyway,
No, well, this is
speaking
a
of
little
how
bit
long your
more
string
like,
is, because I'm like, I wouldn't want to date somebody who's like twice my age and
well, this is
has.
like they're gonna die. Like they know, like, hey, I've got probably like I have like I'm gonna die in 3 years. But like, do you love them? Like, do you still want to? Do you want to have kids with them? What if you've only got 10 years together? Do you want to start a family with them?
Gosh,
What if you have like 15 years? Like, what's your? And that's just like, what's the cutoff? Like, at what point are you like, no, this is not long enough together? Or at one point are you like, no, I can't imagine like living without you. So we're gonna make the most. And some people like quit their jobs. Some people are like, if they have like a short string, like, how do you? What do you do
I
with your
don't want
years
to
that you
read
have
this
left?
book. I'm stressed hearing about this book.
I
My
mean,
anxiety is high.
it was so good.
Wow, my
Okay.
next book is really switching gears. So my next one is a D-list celebrity memoir, and it is Storytelling by Tori Spelling. Here's a little backstory on this. I can tell you exactly when this book came out. It was, I believe, March of 2008, 7 or 8. And I was going on a trip to visit a friend, and I was like, this will be perfect for the plane because I had grown up, loved Beverly Hills 90210. One of my all-time favorite shows, was like so excited to read Tori Spelling's memoir, and I was captivated. Like I know she probably didn't write it. Whoever wrote this for her like did it well. It starts and tells about like her childhood and like growing up with super rich famous parents and how like insane her childhood was, where like her birthday presents would be dropped from a helicopter into her backyard with like little
Oh my God.
parachutes, and how like her birthday parties would have like Ed McMahon was like at her fifth birthday party, and just like
Casual.
crazy casual. Like they would have like these custom made Halloween costumes, and just like there was a whole room in her house growing up that was like a gift wrapping room, which is like my dream, by the way.
Right?
I would love to have I would love to have a gift wrapping station, but anyway. Um, and then it goes into like her relationships and her time on 90210 and how bad she is with money and like how she would like spend money, and just goes into like her first marriage and how the night they got married, she was like, I'm not in love with him. And then like immediately had an
It's wild.
affair. And anyways, she has like 4 or 5 memoirs after that that just like kind of go on with like her life beyond that. But none of them are quite as good because this one really is like so much of her life. But if you've never read it, even if you know nothing about Tori Spelling or like never had an interest in her, I feel like it would be one you would enjoy because it's just like really captivating. So anyway, that's my first of my 3 celebrity memoirs. The celebrities get more famous as I go up.
Okay. Oh my gosh. I have not read that one. I thought you were gonna say Jessica Simpson, and I was like, ooh, I do
I
love
do
it.
enjoy that. I will say they're not on my list, but Jessica Simpson and Britney Spears both have phenomenal memoirs, and I'm dying to read Paris Hilton's, which I've never read.
So good. Okay, I'm gonna stick with like my weird, like the again, like what would you do in this situation? You're gonna
Okay.
laugh at me. You're gonna. Wait, have you heard of Shark Heart by
No.
Emily Hayback? Okay, this
Mm-mm.
is really so. Please don't. You're gonna laugh. All right, this is just a synopsis. For Lewis and Ren, their first year of marriage is also their last. A few weeks after their wedding, Lewis receives a rare diagnosis. You're gonna laugh. He will retain most of his consciousness, memories, and intellect, but his physical body will gradually turn into a great white shark. Listen, I know it's so weird. This was, again, this got like literary fiction. This had great reviews. It's weird. You either like again love it or hate it. But
No.
here's the thing, Neely, the shark is a metaphor for like a terminal illness. So then
No.
but like he's turning into a shark, and she has to go buy him like tuna and like it sounds so silly when I say it, but it's like so sad. And his mind is
No.
still there. Again, it's like if somebody, God forbid, that you love, like received a cancer diagnosis or
I need to
ALS. Like we would,
understand how you decided to read this book. I need to understand how you were like, you know what? That's the one I'm going to read next.
because it's like, what would you do? It just sounded just bizarre enough. But if you don't think of like again, you know, your loved one is you just got married, you have the whole life ahead of you, and then you're like, hey, you have ALS. Hey, you have cancer.
If I found out I had ALS, I told Andrew, I was like, I want you to take me somewhere where I can like die with dignity. I think ALS might be one of the worst things that you could possibly have to go through.
My husband and I
And
were talking about that.
I like, okay, on a much smaller scale, like, you know how when you think about like sicknesses your kids can have, and then somebody says the word lice, and you're like, I would literally rather deal with anything else. We have
100%.
not dealt with lice, but like
Neither
we've
have
had a
we.
lot of people adjacent to us deal with lice lately. And like I literally put Charlotte's hair in a bun every day and spray it down with rosemary spray because I'm like, I swear to God, you've seen her hair. I can't deal with, she has insanely long curly hair. I don't even know what I'd have to call a professional. But like I was texting somebody yesterday. I was like, I would rather have adult hand, foot, mouth than deal with lice. Okay.
100%.
I would
100%.
rather probably go through any other illness than me or like Andrew have ALS. Like I cannot imagine because your brain doesn't fade. Like your
Right.
brain is still fully functioning and how you would go through losing control. Like absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, thank you. All right.
So I know weird, but like
The,
those are my two like kind of it's just like what would you like
the string
what would
one
you
is
do
not as weird as the shark one.
as turning into a shark? I know nobody could ever turn into a shark,
Like the string one, like that could happen.
and yeah, it's like where are you gonna open it? And then you know I think it's like everyone over the age of 18 gets one. So like, do you let your kids open it? And then do you want to know like when your kids are gonna? It was just more about like appreciating life and like not taking anything for granted and like remembering like some of this petty BS. It's like this is not what matters. So it was just like a nice reminder.
Oh, Lordy.
What's your next book? Not about a man
My
that turns
next
into a
book
shark.
is another memoir, but it's, in my opinion, the best memoir I've ever read. And that is Becoming by Michelle Obama. And this is not political at all. And I think no matter where you stand politically, it is a very well written memoir. And it's really impressive, just like how hard she's worked in life. I had no idea until I read this that she was actually Barack Obama's boss when they were lawyers. Like she's just got a really impressive life, her childhood, how hard she's worked. And I think a lot of times in politics, first ladies, whether it's like a governor's wife, president's wife, whatever, are just like very much kind of pushed to the side. And like you don't get to hear a lot about their accomplishments as women. And I think it's really important. It's a book that I think is important to remember that the woman, while the husband is in office, while working, like does so much and goes through so much. And even if there's somebody in politics you don't like, and that's fine. Like we don't have to like everybody. I don't like most people in politics, but her book is just really, really incredible. That was one I listened to on Audible. I don't usually do it, but she narrated it. And I could listen to her talk forever. I'm like, tell me more, my friend Michelle Obama. I would go on walks and I'm like, just walking with my friend Michelle, just chatting. Really good. Really liked it.
I feel like when it's narrated by the author, it just makes it so much more
My
like.
next memoir, I also listened to. We'll talk about it in a second. What's your next book?
Okay. The Light We Lost. Have you read this?
I have. Oh my God. The Love We
I know,
Found was
so
also very good. I liked it. Did you read it?
no. I need to. I have it. I like do it. Is it gonna like ruin this experience? So basically like Lucy and Gabe meet as seniors at Columbia. They meet again a year later. It seems fated, but they're like pulled apart in different directions. He's going to the Middle East, she's going to New York City. So it just says what follows is a 13-year odyssey of dreams, jealousies, and ultimately of love. The journey will take Lucy and Gabe continents apart, but never out of each other's hearts. Lucy finds herself asking, was it fate that brought them together? Is it choice that has kept them away? So again, this like
It's
I am
so
such a
good.
sucker for like the yearning, like will they,
I
won't they, and
actually
like why
forgot.
can't they
I
be
would probably
together?
rank this as one of my favorite books as well. I kind of forgot about it when I was making my list. But it's so good. I love her books. She is such a good writer.
I
Oh,
need to do a reread because it's been, I mean, I don't know when it came out, but it's been several,
that's
several
one that
years
I'm
since I read it.
shocked they haven't adapted.
I know.
It's so
It's
good.
so good.
My next one is my third and final memoir on this list, and it is Friends, Lovers, and the Very Bad Thing by Matthew Perry. Okay. R.I.P. Huge Friends person. Andrew and I literally fall asleep to it every night. Probably my all-time favorite show. I've seen every episode at minimum 500 times. Not even a joke. When Liam was a newborn baby, Andrew and I literally just watched Friends on a loop while we were like up with him, throughout the night and just like figuring out parenting and all of that. And because we wanted to have something just kind of light. And
Yeah.
reading this book, I read it right before he died. I think it was either right before or right after Matthew Perry died. And Matthew Perry dying was like, and this is, I guess, since he died, a lot more kind of like celebrities that I really like have died. But that one was really hard for me because I'm such a Friends lover and because like he's somebody like I knew had always struggled with addiction. And it's like you just want to see those people like get past it and like
Yeah.
be okay. But it was also interesting to just read about his different relationships and just like how I think it's like, did you watch Friends or have you seen
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Friends?
Yeah. I love Friends.
So when he filmed Monica and Chandler's wedding, like those episodes of them getting married, he was actually in a rehab and they would drive him there to film those scenes. And then he would go back to the rehab at night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like he was actually in rehab. And you can, when you're watching the show, you can tell the times that he's on drugs or
Oh,
drinking. The times that he's on drugs are like the seasons where he's super skinny. And then when it's alcohol, it's a season where he's more
like
heavy set.
puffy.
And it's just like knowing all of that and then watching Friends is like kind of sad sometimes. But it's really good. I mean, trigger warning, it talks a lot about addiction, obviously, and just like depression and mental health. But it's really good. It's just really sad.
Somebody
So
was saying, I didn't read it, but I was like reading the reviews and they're like, it almost sounds like he's like not, sometimes you read a memoir and it's like 10, 20, several years later and and they seem kind of like very much on the other side.
he
But they were
didn't.
like, and that's what they said. They're like, he does
He
not
didn't.
seem
He
like he
seemed
has.
like he was straddling both sides. Like you could tell that like he really wanted to not be an addict. But I think his mental health was so bad and not treated properly for so long that like because like here's the thing, most of the time, and this is as somebody who lost a sibling to a drug overdose recently, most of the time people who have addictions have highly untreated mental health. It's like my sister had bipolar disorder that was never treated properly because she was on drugs. My mom, however, I mean, my mom and I like got into it about this. She was put on Ritalin when she was like 5, and this was like 1982 for ADHD or ADD. And my mom is like convinced that that is like what caused her drug problem, which is not scientifically proven. But you know, it's like as a parent, you go back and you're like, what could I have done? And I mean, my sister went to like the best rehabs. I mean, she went to ones that were like $50,000 a month, like all over the country. And it's just, if your mental health isn't treated, like you can't treat, it's like putting a Band-Aid over bullet holes, right? Like you can't stop the bleeding that way. And so you can tell in his memoir that like the mental health portion wasn't properly being dealt with. And when you don't dig deep, like, listen, I go to therapy every week. And this is the first time in my life that I've really like done the work in therapy as far as like really gone deep into like childhood trauma and like different things that have happened. And if you're not willing to do that, like you can't feel better. Like you have to like do the hard part to get to the better part. And I mean, obviously like we'll never really know like what happened in like those final days and like at the end, but it's just somebody like that who like, you know, is on the funniest show on TV that was like the most successful sitcom ever that, you know, I mean, gosh, like they were the first people to make $1 million an episode. I remember that being the biggest deal. Like when they all like decided to align their contracts so that they were all getting paid equally. And it was like, ugh, like I remember when Friends ended, I was so sad. I thought it was one of the best endings of a TV show ever. I still don't think Ross and Rachel lasted. Yeah. If you asked me where I think these people are today, I do not think Ross and Rachel are together, by the way. I think Ross is too toxic. No, I think he's terrible.
Okay, side note,
I have issues
whoever's doing Jennifer Aniston, I feel she has made basically the same deal with the devil that like J-Lo has. Whoever is doing Jennifer Aniston's work, like 10 out of 10.
I also just like love Jennifer Aniston, but I forget who I had this conversation with when it's like, do you think she's the problem or do you think she picks bad men? Like with Brad, we know what happened. By the way, ask me the most devastated I've ever been about people I don't know. And it was coming home from a bar one night and reading that they were getting divorced. And then not maybe a month later reading that Nick and Jessica were breaking up. I'm like, what is the world coming to? Is happening to 2005 was hard.
No, because here's the thing though. But here's the thing. All the kids have dropped Pitt from their name. Did you see that?
I know. I think it's a him thing. But why do I still like him?
Brad Pitt?
What's wrong with me?
He's like, I don't know. Nothing's wrong with you. Justin Theroux, like, but okay, here's like, I know
that made me sad. I really liked them.
Yes, but like normal people can't stay married. So like, poor girl, like she's not like an anomaly.
No, that's true.
You know how. But yeah, she's like so beautiful.
Also,
like,
if y'all haven't seen it, you should go look at her Instagram and watch the birthday tribute she did to Reese Witherspoon yesterday because it was adorable.
Oh, it was Reese Witherspoon when they were in Friends, right? Like my little sister. They were in Friends,
and then because you know they're on the morning show together too, so it's like just talks about like their friendship over the years and just precious. Okay,
who's next? Me? Because that was the Matthew Perry. That was
you.
Okay.
My next books are happier, I promise.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna go back to an OG. We're off like the Strange train. One True Loves.
Wait, do I have that one on mine? No, I have a different one. I have a different Taylor Jenkins Reid book. Okay.
In my opinion, I haven't read this in probably like 8 years, but in my opinion, this is the best one.
I have what I think is the best one, but I think that's the second best one, so it's fine.
I love Daisy
It's another
Jones.
though.
I loved Harry Soto.
You do really love a what would you do in that situation book.
Again,
because that is truly
Neely.
A what would you do in that situation.
Andrew goes off and you think he dies in a plane. Tony goes off and we think he dies in a plane. You like it's a little different because she didn't have kids, but like you try to move on. Oh, the letter he writes her. I'm sobbing.
When I reread it, I had forgotten who she chose. And I was like, oh, like I had completely forgotten everything that happens and like why she kind of decides. And like, I mean, she really does like kind of become a different person because like shit like that shit changes you and like changes your life. And I will say, don't ever watch the movie adaptation if you read the book because it's insulting really to the world that was made. And it's not because I will say I liked every one of those actors. That was not the right role for any of them. That was weird as fuck casting. And it was rushed. Like, no. I also
I
think,
just
I mean, we've talked about this. I don't think movie adaptations are always great. I think TV adaptations are always better because you can build. You lose too much when you adapt a book. But I do love that book. I think
like what?
Taylor Jenkins Reid, okay, the thing I love about her books as a whole is it is a lot of what would you do in this situation? That's like kind of like even her early books are all very much like Forever Interrupted. It's like you get married, you have this whirlwind romance, and he dies right after you get married in like a freak accident. And then it's like, what would you do? You know, after I do, they go and decide after 7 years of marriage, they're going to take a year off and not
That one
talk
is
to each
so
other and see.
depressing.
I told you I read
I
it on my
hate that one.
honeymoon like
Yeah.
a psychopath. Okay, so we can talk about this at the same time because my Taylor Jenkins Reid book that I have on here is Maybe in Another Life, which
Oh, I do
is
love
one
that.
of
That's like
my
the sliding
favorite.
doors, right?
Yes, it's one of my favorite like niche interests in a book or movie, which is uh she decides like, oh, I could go home with my childhood love or I don't go home with my childhood love and everything that happens on either side of that. And let me tell you, it is a ride. And it obviously and it shows how both situations would end and everything that happens. It's one of my favorite books. It is will take you on an emotional roller coaster of a journey. And it's just I really I told you I don't not like Evelyn Hugo and like some of those books, but it's so different from her first four books. And I think her first four
Agreed.
books are better. I think the first four books just had more heart to them. Um, and I don't love the recent ones. I liked the Daisy Jones show better
Oh,
than the
I
book.
loved the Daisy Jones show. I mean, the chemistry they have. Oh my God,
Um,
it's so good. So good.
like basically, Daisy Jones is nice if you're a Fleetwood Mac fan and you're like kind of want to know what Fleetwood Mac was like. Like basically watch Daisy Jones because it's pretty much the story of that for the most part. Evelyn Hugo was fine, but
It wasn't
like
my favorite.
bugged me because it felt like very ripoff of Elizabeth Taylor's life, and I'm a huge like obsession of Elizabeth Taylor as a person, so that felt weird. I did not like Malibu Rising. I DNF'd it. I
I didn't
got
really like that
about
one either.
1/3 in, and I was like, I can't relate to this. And I haven't read Carrie Soto because I'm not interested in any of the story. And I have not read Atmosphere because, again, I'm not interested in the subject.
I liked Atmosphere. I did not think it was her best. And I think if you had slapped another author's name on it, it would not have
Done well.
done as well. I loved Carrie Soto, but I, as like a former D1 athlete, like I love a sports story. Like I love an athlete story. I don't know
I usually
anything about
do.
tennis,
Did
and I
you watch
loved
that
it so
movie?
much.
Oh my God, I cannot think of what it's called. It's with Zendaya, the tennis movie.
No, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's a wild movie, by the way. Wild.
Um,
Um,
okay, who
but yeah,
is it me?
anyways, maybe in another
Oh,
life and When True Loves. I think our Taylor Jenkins Reid's best. I think the two of those are very much what would you do in this situation? Can't recommend both of them enough. Just because I do feel like a lot of people haven't read her first four books. I feel like a lot of people started with like Evelyn Hugo and have read like all of that. And
they're
like
very different. I think her
they're
like
very different.
her older ones are more like rom-commy, like still kind of like serious and like emotional, but her second ones are not as rom-commy, and I think they're more like I don't say commercial, like they're more like commercial fiction.
Yeah, they're very character driven versus romance driven. And I
Agreed.
prefer
Agreed.
a romance driven book. Um, okay, let's talk about the next one, which we both have on our list, which is The Idea of You. Um, if you know, you know. I will say this was the first book that I heard someone call smut. So somebody said it was well written smut, and I was like, I don't know what that means, but tell me less.
But I'm
Um,
sold, yeah.
after at a, I was not a like One Direction person when I read it. I know that was like a lot of people's interest peaked. But when I tell you that the Anguilla scene in that book lives rent free in my brain when they're
Hey,
on the
yeah.
boat, I literally was like, this is the dirtiest thing I've ever read in my life. But it's so well written, and just the way that they describe, and again, I do love fashion. So the way that she's like, I was wearing my Alaya dress and these fuck me Jimmy Choo sand. And I'm like, ma'am, what?
I
Also a book that made me not nervous to turn 40. I was like, fuck, she's
like,
40. Like,
hey.
I could turn 40.
So I will confess, like when I first, because it actually like it was published and it was not it had like a moment later.
It was like a sleeper hit. It was
Yes.
like when a movie comes out and 15 years later it's all of a sudden like a cult classic. This is what I would call a cult classic.
And I read the synopsis and I was like, I am not reading this like trashy ass like woman with her boy. I like totally shit all over it. And I was like, I don't think this is for me. And I forget somebody was either like somebody was like, read it, or I finally was like, you know what? Okay, like I'll just try it. Oh, was hooked from like the first chapter. Like
It's
the
so good.
chemistry, she just really made it work. And it was so much more mature and emotional than I thought. And
I
yeah,
think
so hot when she's like, when she like sits on his face, and this again like was one of the first times that you're like, I was like, ah, girl, like
I
just
think what
go.
I like about it too is that it's all based in different cities. So like something about the way that she like does the chapters by like Barcelona, Paris,
Yeah,
like, just I don't know. It's just I'm sure at this point everyone listening has read it. I will say I have watched the movie 3 times. The first time was in the theater and I was like, I hate this. And I was angry. And like quite literally, the only thing that made me happy about that movie was that the opening and closing song is a Maggie Rogers song that I love. And everything in between it made me mad. And when they cast Anne Hathaway, I was mad. And I was like, I hate this
agreed.
casting. I literally, as soon as now I will say she looks fucking stunning in the movie. And
Yes, she was
whatever
fine.
whatever she's doing to make herself look as good as
I think
she looks,
she's had a facelift, right?
I
That's
don't
what
know,
somebody
but
said.
she looks phenomenal. Like Anne Hathaway is killing it in the aging department. Just phenomenal. Um I don't like that they changed the end. I know a lot of like I feel like they had to make for the movie to make it like a commercial hit, right? They're like got to change the ending.
Yeah.
The ending in the book is
She
better because that's how it needs to end because it's the only thing that makes sense. But they aged up her daughter. Like they changed a lot in the movie to where I don't know. I didn't like the changes.
I didn't finish the movie
Oh, it's awful. And every time
because
I
I was
watch it,
like,
I like hope I'm gonna like it more, and I actually like it less.
again, she's like not who I would have cast. I was like, she's not like a chic French woman. Like, stop.
No.
So yeah, we
Yeah.
co-signed
I
that
mean,
one.
I had a hard stop at the Anne Hathaway, and I knew I was gonna go into it and be upset. And it's like I went in with such low expectations, and somehow it was worse. Like somehow I was like, this is actually worse than I thought. And this is why I will stand by this now, 2 books in a row. The movie adaptation is rarely going to be good. It's now, I will
Agreed.
say, I know we don't agree on this. I loved People We Meet on Vacation. Hot
So did a
take.
lot of people. Like, you're not like it's not like
I
you're on
loved
the
it.
island by yourself.
I know, but like to me, that was like a very well done one. The Hating Game to me, well done adaptation. It
I like
can
that one.
work. Hating Game, it's like cute, right? Like it's
It's
not
fine. Yeah.
like it's whatever. I thought that guy has zero acting abilities, but like he reminded me of Christian Grey and that like his only job was to stand there and be tall and hot, and he didn't need to do anything else.
Did you see
Um,
The Housemaid?
no, because I didn't read it.
You- Okay. Yeah, you're not like a thriller.
I'm not a
I thought
thriller
that was very
girly.
good.
I
And
won't see Verity because I didn't read it.
Brendan
But also
Sklenar.
I'm like very
No.
over Colleen Hoover adaptations and Colleen Hoover in general. So
You
like
didn't read,
I
did you read Woman Down?
no,
Can I
I
pan
won't
that
read
for
the
30 seconds? Oh my God,
yeah.
Neely, it was so bad. And listen, I almost put It Ends With Us on this list.
Oh, if
Like,
I was to put I almost put Ugly Love because that's my favorite Colleen Hoover book. Also, All Your Perfects. I will say she has books that I really enjoy. All Your Perfects to me is
agreed.
her best book. Um, and that's because as somebody who's gone through infertility,
Right.
now I would laugh because Rachel had not read any of Colleen Hoover books. And when I would talk about them, she's like, does every one of them have a car crash? And I was like, a lot of them have a car crash. Like I would talk about them. I'm like, yes. Um, yes.
Woman Down. It was like,
What is it even about?
it's about this. Okay, so it's really funny. Her author's at the beginning is like, this book isn't about me, so like, please don't think it is, but it's about an author who
Sure.
recently had a movie adaptation and all the drama, and the movie adaptation got panned, and like all this like bad stuff happened with it. And then she doesn't get like canceled, but she like has writer's block and like can't write
It is
anything because everyone
about
like hates
her.
her. But she's like, this book isn't about me. So like, fine, you know what? I don't even, that wasn't even like the bad part. It was like almost like a romantic suspense. And like she meets this guy, and like, okay, spoiler alert, like skip ahead if you haven't read it. She like meets him, and she decides he's gonna be her muse. So she like sleeps with him, and then she can start writing the thriller. And she's like, oh, he's gonna be like my cop inspiration. And she's like, Neely, she literally like meets him, and they're like fucking within like an hour or something. Like, I'm like, you just met him. And it's like stranger danger. She's in like an Airbnb for like the
An
weekend or
Aaron
like the week
BB.
to like write. Yeah. She's there. It was just like so messed up. And honestly, like it was like, is this the writing was just like not good, and it was just very bad, and I was so sad. So I will get off my high horse. Let's talk about a better book. Is it my turn? Because I was like kind
I
of
don't
both of
even
us.
know.
Okay, I'll go. Again, it's another. Okay, I do have another. What would you do? It's called The Dream Daughter. I think you should read this as a mother. Oh my gosh. So basically, what happens?
I'm scared.
Okay, okay. She is recently Carly is widowed by the Vietnam War. Her husband dies in the Vietnam War, and she gets news that her unborn baby girl has a heart defect. Okay, it's 1970, and there's like nothing that can be done. But her brother-in-law is a physicist, tells her there's a way to save the baby. What he suggests is something that will shatter every preconceived notion Carly has, that will require a kind of strength and courage she never known existed, all for the love of her unborn child. So like, I I can't spoil it, but like, oh my gosh, like what she has to do to like save her baby. And it's like, what would you do as a mother? And like a mother's love, and like you would move to the ends of the earth, like move
I
heaven and
don't
earth,
I
go to
don't
the end of the
think
earth
that
for
is
your
for
child.
me.
These are like very emotional books, but these are the ones that like stick with me, where I'm like crying, and I'm
Oh,
just like, oh my gosh, what
gosh.
would you
All
do? And I
right.
also read it like pretty like I was like real postpartum, so that was also like I was like holding my like baby, like she had like nursed, and I was like holding her, and I was like reading this book, and I was like, oh my God. So they can't
All
all
right.
be like sitting on your face in Barcelona.
Uh, all
What's
right.
next for you?
The next one for me is one that I never hear talked about it, and I'm convinced I'm the only person that's read it. It's called The One That Got Away by Bethany Chase. And it is one of my favorite books ever. I think it came out in like 2014 or 15. It's essentially about a girl who like had kind of a one night, 1 week fling with this guy in her early 20s, and then he like ghosted her, right? 6 years later, he's moving back to town. He's good friends with her best gay friend. And he hires her. She's an architect. He hires her to like design his house, and they start working closely together. And like obviously, like are catching feelings, but she's like very closed off. One, because of what happened before. Two, because she's been in a 4 year relationship. And the guy that she's in a relationship with is like traveling abroad for a year for work. So like they're long distance, and it just, it's so good. But it's kind of like a what would you do? Because it's like a guy that she like really thought she had something with, and he just ghosted her, and she never knew why and never understood what happened and never got any sort of closure with it. And then he's kind of like reappeared, but now he's like this amazing guy and like really into her. And she's like, dude,
Where'd you
no.
go?
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's
interesting.
really, really, really good. I really liked it a lot. And I've read it a few times. I might want to read it again. It's such a good one. But
It's a
yeah,
good
that's my
reread.
next one.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
cute. Okay, my next one is Claire Lombardo, The Most Fun We Ever Had. I don't know why I keep showing these to you. I just put them in a pile so I don't forget. I just love a good like family drama. And I love it's like a multi-generational, told over like decades and decades. The family, like some of them are hot messes. But oh my gosh, I just love like the parents, the siblings. Like I'm such a sucker for a multi-generational, like let's follow them over like
Mm-hmm.
several decades and like see how they grow and how like the trauma unweaves and, comes together, falls apart. I love that. So that is a good, messy family drama.
My last book is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, which I think is the best Christina Lauren book. It's the first one I read. I remember I was giggling, I was laughing. It's so funny. It's essentially about the only two people from this wedding don't get food poisoning. If you've read it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
And so they go on the honeymoon because it's her sister. I think it's her sister. Like is like very about winning prizes and like won some like insanely incredible honeymoon. And so they had to go on it because they were like, no, like you have to go on this honeymoon. And then I think they run into like his ex maybe on the honeymoon. Guys, it's been a while. I think it's they
It's
run
been
into
so
his
many. It
ex.
was so cute.
It's so cute. But it's just like a very like I do love Love and Other Words, which is I would say like a more serious one of her books and like has
That's
some
so
like kind of
good.
harder parts. It is so good. It's the same story as Every Summer After. Um, I don't know which came first. I think Love and Other Words did. But uh The Unhoneymooners to me is like more of just like the fun, like rom-commy. I'm surprised that hasn't gotten an adaptation, honestly. But it's great. Do you have one left?
I think I do have one. I don't know. I think I have 11, but I have to talk about this. Okay, Songs in
All right.
Ursa Major. I've mentioned this a few times by Emma Brody. She's got a new one coming out April 7th called Into the Blue, but this is so
I
good.
know I
Again, it's
have the new
another.
one.
Oh, you
I
do? Okay.
got
Oh, good.
approved. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Songs in Ursa Major is another kind of like, will they, won't they? Like the timing is never quite right. It's Jane and Jesse. It's kind of like Daisy Jones-esque if you like the music scene. Um, and it's like what happens like when you love somebody, but maybe they're not like good for you and or they
Hmm.
have like their own demons that like can you like do you walk away?
No.
And like you love them so 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 much, but like these demons that they're battling, are they like too much for you both to overcome? And oh my gosh, it was incredible. So that is my, I think it was 11, but my 10 plus 1.
All right. Well, I think we've given everybody like if there are books on this list you haven't read, I feel like we've given you a lot of recommendations. We've talked about a lot of books. I'm going to try to link them all. So,
I will send them to you.
they will be linked and yeah, if you need a good book rec, we did it for you.
And if
That
you
was
had some
really
that like
fun.
the same, let us know. Like if
Yeah,
you
I would love to know what some of yours are. So definitely let us know. I'm going to put up a little question box after tomorrow on the Instagram so that people can kind of drop theirs too and we can share other people's. But Kailey, remind everyone where they can find you.
I'm on Instagram at KMC_reads.
And I also always link her Goodreads in the show notes. And then I am everywhere at Neelykins, except TikTok where I'm Neely Moldovan. And you can find the podcast everywhere at Smut Show Podcast. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.